Yeah, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Learn JavaScript with Foundry VTT. And in our last couple episodes, we've been kind of working on some macros. Now, I think I said this, and I want to give this disclaimer. I am not a guru at JavaScript, nor am I especially not a guru at actually creating macros for Foundry and understanding the core inner workings of Foundry VTT itself. So this is kind of a learning process, as you probably noticed, for both of us as far as that goes. As you can see, we're in Foundry Virtual Tabletop version 10, build 291. Version 11 looks like it's just around the corner. We were last working on our dark vision one. Now I've actually gone through and erased everything that I had in here, and the reason for that is I've been talking with various people in the Discord, the great Foundry community, and they're awesome. They're very willing to help, and they've helped me understand quite a bit of stuff in this. So even though you can do it, it's probably a bad practice what I was showing you before, where we just created our original range, original mode, or vision mode variables right there in the site. There's actually a spot in Foundry when they create tokens and stuff that is designed for you to be able to add your own flags and such. And so we're going to go ahead and attempt to do this the right way. Now, I had this working 100% just before this video, but of course, because we're doing this on video, it's probably going to have failures and stuff. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to execute, I meant to hit save. So what I'm going to do is, because I have these tokens that actually have the different vision types, so I could note what they were, tremor sense and such, I'm not going to touch those. We're going to grab a new little zombie guy who's going to be our test subject. Now, one thing always to keep in mind, especially with this macro, is that we need to make sure that vision is enabled on it. Now, we can do that programmatically, or you can do it, right here. The other thing I'm doing just for our zombie, it has a default. I'm going to give it a 5 just so we can definitely see the change going on. So we are going to get this working today, and as far as I know, we're going to be getting it working in the best practices way. But before we do that, what I want to show you is a little bit more of where this area is and how to access and create variables in the flags area of inside Foundry VTT. So to start off, we're going to, where's my window right here? We're going to go, as you can see, we're at foundryvtt.com, API, classes, foundry.abstract.document.html. You don't have to type that. You can actually just go to the API and then just kind of whittle your way down to this. But what I want to do is point out these three things. There's one called get flag, there's one called set flag, and there's one called unset flag. And these are the same thing as creating an object inside or creating a new property inside an object, getting the value of that, and using the, was it delete or unset? I think it was delete, where we delete our actual thing. So let's just kind of go over these really quick. So first we have set flag. And as you can see, here's how you use it. You use set flag, of course, because we're working inside the, the token.document portion of it. We would actually have token.document.setFlag. The scope, as you can see here, it says flag set by the core software. Use the core scope. We're definitely not doing anything core software. Then it says flags set by game systems or modules should use the canonical name for the attributes. So I'm assuming that's saying for D&D 5e, there's going to be a spot in there maybe for D&D 5e. If you have an actual module like Dice So Nice or something, maybe you would actually have a flags for your Dice So Nice. And then it says an individual world should use world, or flags set by an individual world should use world as the scope. So I did do some verifying with the community on the Foundry VTT Discord, and they said when in doubt, use world. It doesn't hurt. Now, one other thing you'll notice, actually we'll get to that when we get there. So the key here is going to be the name of our variable. So what we were setting it in our example was original mode, or orig mode and orig range. And then we actually set the value that we want it to be. So that's the set flag. To get the flag, basically it's almost the same, except for we don't have to set a value, right? So if we hit back real quick and go to the get flag, you can see we're still doing the token.document.get flag, and then we add our scope, which will be world. We'll add our key, which is the name of our variable, and then we can either evaluate what is returned, or we can set it to a variable. In our case, we don't have any real reason to set it to a variable. Actually, yeah, we do. But for the most part, we're only using it to get the value. And then finally, we have the unset flag, which also will have the scope, in our case as world, and the key, which would be the variable name, and then it will go ahead and delete it. Now here's the caveat here, is because we create this world, that actually stays. The scope actually stays in there, and I was told by our friends at the Foundry VTT Discord that you can just leave it. It's not going to hurt anything. Because I guess if anyone else is creating things, they probably will have it anyway. So when we create our default token, we do not have any scope in there. And we'll actually go check that in just a minute. But once we delete it, it leaves the scope there, but it will actually delete the actual variable names and values that were associated with it. So I'm going to go ahead and close this now, because I think that's all I wanted to do at the API documentation. So let's go ahead and investigate a little bit where this information is stored. So we already know when we have our token selected, we will have the controlled inside our, we can ignore all this. So in here we have under canvas.tokens, and then we have our controlled 0, right? Because that's the only thing in our array. controlled, controlled 0, hit over. I don't know why it goes down too. And we also have the document, which is where our site information and where these flags are. So if we do document like that and hit enter, we can actually see here we have all that information that we already know. Here's our site information, and just up from there we have our flags, and you'll actually see that flags is completely empty at the moment. There's nothing in here, just the prototype. So that is where those values will actually be set. Now we never come in here and go, token.document.flags.world. whatever our variable name is. We want to use their methods for actually accessing this data, so that we are doing it with the proper channels. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So we'll go and get rid of that. We'll go back to here. I can delete test here because that was just some testing I was doing. But we're going to go ahead and do it. So like I said, I deleted everything inside our thing except for our check if at least one token or only one token is selected. And I left this little thing at the very bottom to remind us what the valid values for vision mode actually are. All right, so let's go ahead and begin. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a constant. And I think in our original one, I did it as a let. And the reason I did that is because, oh wait, we're going to be changing vision mode. However, when you're dealing with objects, you can actually change the inner workings of an object without changing the actual object. So we can use constant. It's probably recommended to do here. So we're going to do const, and we're going to create site, GHT, and I'm going to assign that to canvas dot tokens dot controled bracket 0, whoops, 9 bracket 0 bracket. There we go. And then of course we know that inside the document was where site was. So document dot site, like so. And what this will do is assign site this object, or I think I want to call it, it's still an object within it, I believe. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then just for troubleshooting, I like to always have, I'm going to create two troubleshooting things here. I'm going to do console console.log, and I'm going to basically take this section, Control C, just so we have the entire token if we need to look at it. When, whoops, forgot to put that in there, like so. Undo that, and comma space and V. So we don't need this right now, so I'm just going to comment it out. And then also I like to have one for our site, so we can actually quickly see that if we need to. So let's go and do that and do SIG. Whoops, almost forgot to do this again. And do a comma and SIGHT and a parenthesis there. We can go ahead and stick our, just to be good, we'll stick in our little semicolons. Alright, so the next thing we're going to want to do is actually create, whether it's basic mode or advanced mode, we want some variables to hold the values that we're going to update. So we're going to create two, and these will change, so we need to do a let. We're going to do range and mode, which is going to represent our vision mode, but I'm lazy and don't want to type vision in front of it. And then we're going to go ahead and use our newfound knowledge about the get flag, and we're going to check if the get flag world, which is the scope, and original range or orig range exists. If it doesn't, then we know we need to create it and assign our advanced vision, right? So we're going to go ahead and do an if parenthesis and say token dot document dot get flag. And this is where we're going to put our information. Remember, the very first property was the scope, so we're just going to use world. Our second property was the name we're going to give the variable, so we need to put this in quotes because we're passing it to a function and it expects it to be in string mode. So we're going to call it ORIG and range. And we could also do the original vision mode here, but once again, I'm kind of lazy and don't want to type a whole lot. So that's why we're doing range, because it's less typing. And then we want whoops, not you, go ahead and do our conditions. So we're going to have it, if it's true, if it exists. Did I do not? No, because if it does exist, then we want to go ahead and reset. So we're going to do else, and we're going to put our other part of our thing. All right, so if it does exist, that means that we're already probably in advanced mode and we want to revert back. That's our toggle. So we're going to go ahead and say mode. We're going to say equals. So we're going to assign mode to be equal to the original values, right? So basically, we're going to use our entire thing right here. And this will be the quicker. Oops, there's a comma there. I don't want that. Do this, Control C and V. So we're going to set it, so there's our, actually this is mode, so we're going to call this vision mode. And we'll be good because this is not in sight. Mode could mean various things. Other people might use mode. So I'm going to be more specific in this in case there's some other module or macro out there that's using the world scope, but also using mode for whatever reason. So I'm going to go ahead and actually do this right and say VISION MODE. And, you know, thinking that same thing, I'm just going to leave range. Range is fine. And then we'll go ahead and set a second one. And this will be range. And we'll say equals. And we can basically do this time. Control C and Control V. Just like that. And we'll go ahead and throw those there. And of course, it's always good to put some comments in here to say what is going to be going on. So RESTO, we're going to restore, what did I have written? The ORIGINA, original, VIS, vision, mode, and range. So this is going to basically get those original values. Now that we've got those, we no longer need the temporary variables. So we're going to go ahead and delete those. So we're going to make another comment. We're going to say delete, delete the flags that we created. And for that, we're just going to do the unset, right? And we can technically just take this exact same thing. Actually, I'll grab both of them. Control C, and we'll just paste them right here. And then we'll just modify them. So we don't have the range part here. All we're doing is instead of getting, we're unsetting. So unset flag and UNS. And basically, we don't have to change anything else. Original, I'm just double checking my notes. Yes. The only other thing we need is because, you know, we're doing the async. This is a thing that might take longer than expected. So a good thing to do here is also await it. So we're awaiting the deletion of those, in case some other process is doing something. And that is pretty much our entire restoring our original version or our original mode back. So the next thing we want to do is other words, or we want to actually go and set our vision mode. And this, to do this, first thing we're going to want to do is actually back up the original, which will create these two variables. And we're going to set them to what the current vision mode and range is. So we're going to go ahead and await again. We're going to do await, and we can kind of use these same two again. In fact, let's just do that. Let's do this. Control C. We'll just do Control V because it'll go a lot quicker. And instead of unset, we're just setting. Oh, that was uset. I'm glad I did that. I would have missed that. So there's our unset, and now we have set. The only thing we need to do here is then go ahead and tell it where we're setting it from. So in this case, we created our variable up here site. So we're going to do SIGHT. We're going to do a dot, and this will be vision mode. That's the right one, right? Vision mode. And this one will be the same, being SIGHT dot RENGE. And that will go ahead and set our thing, or back them up. So we're going to say BACK, back up the ORIGINAL, VISION, MODE, and range. Yep, there we go. And now that we've done that, we just need to set what our advanced vision is going to be. Now, this is designed specifically for the Twilight Cleric, where they can grant you a dark vision of 300 feet for X amount of time. And when it's done, we want to be able to click it again to toggle back off. So what we're going to do then is, oh, I had this one wrong. That's okay. In my notes, I have one piece wrong that I need to fix. All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to set mode, because this will be what, oh, whoops. This is, I forgot my comment, UP update, or actually maybe let's say this is setting the ADVA, and actually I don't want that uppercase, ADVANC, advanced vision settings. And for that, then we're just simply going to say mode equals, and if you remember down here we have these options. We want dark vision, so we're just going to do dark vision, DARKVISION, and a semicolon there, and whoops, I hit the quote again, and range will be equal to boom, oh no, boom, 300, because that's going to be our range. And that is it for that. Then finally what we want to do is actually go ahead and update our token, right? And if you remember, oh, actually you don't, because this is another thing, because I scrapped that video that I was working on because it was terrible. AWAIT. So await. This is the other thing I found, and I'm probably going to have to go look it up, the actual verbiage real quick. So give me just 1 second. I want token. Give me just 1 second to find this. Actually, that was the wrong one. Documents, I think. And I want base token, I believe. Yes, here we go. And it was called, I think it was update vision mode. I will find it. Give me just 1 second. Let's do. Was it up here? Sorry, I forgot that I didn't update this in my original thing. So one thing that was happening, I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but it was working okay, but we'd click this 3 times. But when it was actually changing vision mode, it wasn't actually changing the saturation, where dark vision, for example, had grayscale. It was changing the size of our range, changing the name to dark vision inside our actual token update information. However, what it wasn't doing was actually applying the dark vision property. I don't know what to call it. Give me just a second. I'm just trying to find. What was this yesterday? Okay. Is it right here? I just want to make sure I get it right. So I think that's what I need. Update. I can't remember what it's called. All right, so we're going to go ahead and do the first one first, and then we'll figure out the second one. But anyway, so we can update the site range because there's no special things being applied to that. But the token document actually has a special, what's the word I'm looking for? Not function. Method. All right, well, let's continue. So TOK. So we're going to do, oh, whoops, I'm in the wrong thing here. I'm in my notes. All right, so we're gonna do token dot what I say document dot update, I believe. Yes. Token dot document dot update, and this is going to take an object, and the first setting is going to be sight site.range. So that's the value we're updating, range, and the value that we're going to set it to will be range. The second part is basically the same, but it's actually called, give me 1 second, I gotta find it. API doc token document. Let's see if that'll pull it up. It is, please be here. Methods, okay. Toggle, no, it's not update vision source. There is an update vision source though, but that's not it. I could swear, is this for version 9? Token. I can't believe I don't have that. I think it might have been update mode or update vision mode. Let's try and just do update mode. UPD update mode. And this will be the other part. So this will be need the quotes. Site dot vision mode. And then we have after that our colon, and oh, I messed this one up. There we go. And this will be our mode. That doesn't look right to me though. What was it? Token document vision mode. Maybe it's this one. Update source. That is not it. This one. Part of it is that I had this. I actually made a video updating this. I didn't have the part of actually creating variables outside of the thing where we use the flags, but I had everything else. But then I deleted it. I know it's not source, but I'm not seeing update position. Give me just 1 second. I'm gonna check in. I'm gonna check in the Discord and see if I can scroll up to where they were helping me. So this is yesterday, 1:18 a.m. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna pause it for a second because I want to get this right. So I'm gonna pause this video just for a second while I look it up, and I will be back in just a minute. So I'll see you guys in just a minute. Okay, I ended up finding it. So it is token.update. It is update. It is vision mode. So and then it actually has a special property. So vision. So vision mode, and we don't actually need to do that part. We just need the mode itself, which will be in this case dark vision or whatever the original one was. All right, so I think that should take care of this. Go ahead and stick our semicolon there. And that So Freeze is the one that answered it and said that the vision mode should be split because the update vision mode will automatically reset the saturation and etc. Instead of just the name of the vision mode. So what we were doing before, and it seemed like it was working, but when I looked closer, I noticed everything was still color, was if we go in here, it was simply just changing the value of this to dark vision, but not going into, say, the advanced option and changing saturation, contrast, or any of the other stuff that the different vision modes actually invoke. So hopefully everything here is now set to go, and we're gonna go ahead and test it. If it works on the first try, I will be amazed. So we're gonna hit it. Ready? Oh, look at that. Everyone's gray. You can see they're all grayscale, and we have our vision of 300 feet. Okay, moment of truth. Boom. Haha. Beautiful. Back to color. You can see we're colored again, and we only have our 5 foot. So what I wanted to point out really quick too, so we're going to go ahead and I'm going to shrink this because we're going to need more space. We're going to go ahead and execute it, so we're in the dark vision mode, and then we're going to, I probably should have uncommented this guy real quick so we could quickly pull up the token. I'm going to switch it back. We're going to go ahead and clear out the console, and we're going to do it once more. So right now we're in vision mode, regular, basic, or whatever. So if we come in here, we go look at our document, and we go look at our flags, you'll actually see here's our scope, and inside here we have our basic vision and 5 foot, right? If we hit this again, what you'll see is it has now switched us back. If we go back into document and go down to flags, you will see we still have the world, but it's empty. So according to the great devs over on the Foundry Discord, it's not a big deal to go ahead and just leave this world here. But that seems to do exactly what we want, and it only took us 32 minutes to code it, and it worked on the first try. I'm amazed at that. So I think this is the last of the macros that we're going to do. We're going to jump back into working on other things. I do have some notes. I wanted to read what I was looking at for the future. And then let me know if there's anything I'm missing or if there's things specifically you might want to know. But upcoming, will not necessarily in this order, we'll be learning about destructuring, the spread operator, rest pattern, optional chaining, higher order functions, bind methods, ifs, and closures. That's what I have so far. So if there's anything else you can think of that would be good, or anything specific that you would like to know about, let me know in the comments. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord. Well, I forgot about clicking the notification bell. And then follow me on Twitter and check out my Discord. My Discord's a really good place to talk with me. I'm usually fairly quick to answer any questions or, make any replies that might be needed. Tell other people about my channel. Check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We can grow the channel, and it will just be awesome. And that is it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.